Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca and welcome back to my Pixel Quest. We're going to continue today with our blind playthrough of The Return of the Obra Dinn. We're going back to LCD for this episode at least. I might do some more colour experiments like we did in the last episode. We tried green. It was probably the harshest one on the eyes, so we may just try that once. But I might experiment with some others as we go. But we're going back to LCD for today. Yeah, so we've tried out a few of these now. Yeah, let's at least have one more episode in the the good high contrast black and white. So we're back with my game that I'm enjoying so much, and I am coming back into this game. Not only dancing, literally I was just dancing, you can't see it, I was just dancing to this music. I'm coming back into this game very, very determined to work on some of these fates. Yeah, so we're here with the, I don't know, with the gunners, and I suppose just some, I suppose a lot of these guys are just seamen who are working the cannons, but I think, my guess is gunner, and that there's, a decent chance that this guy might be the gunner's mate. Don't know, not really basing that off much, except that he's near him here. That's about it. So I don't really give a lot of stead to that theory. But let's go through a bit more of the stuff that goes on down here. Now, something I'm a bit curious to check. Oh, hang on, wrong one. This one. Something I'm a little. Let's try zeroing in on this guy. Something I'm a little bit curious to look at right here is, does the game think I know who this is? I have my own guesses, as you've heard many times. So the game appears to think I can have a go at this. Well, what if I were to say, I don't think I've been given conclusive evidence that this is the gunner, but I'm going to say that the fact that I believe this is the guy who is speaking in this scene and giving the instructions, I'm going to say that is good enough for me, along with the other things, like the fact that he's standing kind of seemingly directing the people shooting the guns in the sketch. I'm going to say, yep. So, thank you, game. I had a feeling that might be the thing. Yay! Yay! We did it. The very first thing in the episode. Oh, that's really interesting. Now, that's really interesting, actually. Duncan. We got Duncan as well. And the walls fell. Beautiful. Look at that. We're making our way around the circle. Okay, that's excellent. Excellent. And the great thing is every new fate solved and every new, triple grouping of fate solved makes the others easier because we're eliminating other possibilities for those others. So brilliant. Brilliant. Now, let me return to this one here. The reason I was saying this is innocent. He was innocent. He was innocent. The reason I was saying this is interesting is because what I was actually going to talk to you about, and now I guess that, well, look, it could still be a general theory, but the specific theory I had has now been proven wrong by this. I don't know. It was, it wasn't the theory that I thought was true. It was something I was entertaining might be true. And that is, what I was thinking is that if this one remains incorrect, I definitely, first off, I was thinking, I could very, very, very well be wrong about who Brennan is, because there was one other candidate and it could be that other candidate. So I was like, it could be that everywhere I'm putting Brennan in, it's the wrong guy. It could be Knifey Mouth Guy, that's who I've referred to him as the beginning, or Jungle Gym enthusiast. However, this is now confirmed to Brennan. So everywhere that we have Brennan in, great. But the theory I was going to talk about is that I thought if this does remain wrong, and let's say we kind of know that this one is right, what I thought what I thought is that it's a possibility, and this, Rebecca, finish the sentence, stop jumping ahead. I thought it's a possibility that we have somebody who has a hidden identity. We have somebody who has swapped identities with somebody else. And I had a thought that it could be this guy, and that essentially this guy could be on the ship, you know, under a pseudonym, or having swapped names. So I thought there was a possibility that maybe this is not the actual Formosan royalty. Maybe it's this guy, right? And maybe they're being really clever and hiding identities. So actually, this is the king, this is her actual husband, and he's pretending to be a guard. Well, you know, one of the guards pretends to be, you know, whatever the you know, royalty is, king, whatever. And so I thought, look, in this case, it's wrong because we now know that this is Hokseng Lao. So that idea has been proven wrong. But I thought, wouldn't that be such a clever thing for this game to do? So it could still be possible with someone else. There could still be someone else who is actually has taken somebody else's identity. And that would be so clever because you would actually have clues, potentially, that are like someone is referring to someone by a certain name. And you're going, but I've got that name in. It must be correct. But actually, dear reader, it's another person. Their actual identity is something else. Anyway, in this case, not the case because the game has told us that this is in fact Hokseng Lao. So that's that. Anyway, hooray! 3 more fates right out of the gate. So that's great. That's great. And it's nice to know who the gunner is. So I guess now we're sort of on the lookout for the gunner's mate. It could be this other guy who he has died with or somebody else. But we do know that the gunner's mate is from Poland, Olus. So the problem is that this guy doesn't speak in this particular scenario. So maybe we'll hear him in another memory. We've also got Duncan McKay confirmed, and that was the 3 of them. Okay. That was the 3 of them. Now, we have, the interesting thing is we have Brennan confirmed. Now, what are the other memories? I don't think there's anything in the Doom. I'm just doing a double check. But also, surely if the other great thing about this is that we have this death confirmed, which is one of the sort of obviously what he has died from is very, very obvious. It's right here. However, what to call it had a fair bit of ambiguity around it for me. So now we've had that confirmed. So I think we can put the same thing in for this guy. Blasted with a cannon by a terrible beast. I am cool with that. But actually, what? Where did the blasted come from? Exploded or shot? Shot, I think, right? Shot, cannon. Yeah, blasted with a cannon by beast. I don't think his death would be different just because he was. He's in the exact same circumstances as I was going to say Gunner, but we can call him Christian. He's in the exact same circumstances, so surely the death is the same. Right. Happy with that? This guy crushed by a loose cannon. So far, I believe that's what we're going to say. Yeah, we don't really get anything apart from him calling somebody sir, which is not really any kind of reveal at all. We don't get much about this guy yet. Blasted, but I don't know who you are yet, I think. So it's interesting. I have this one fully entered in. It didn't get confirmed, but so it's interesting. This one, I suppose, let's say this one is correct. Like, just like, let's work through the logic here. If this one is correct, then that means that this one was also on offer to be part of the 3 deaths, the 3 fates that were just confirmed, but it wasn't. So I wonder if there's any, and this is something I'm wondering. Don't give me any, please don't give me any confirmation about any of this or hints about it in the comments or anything like that. But just to let you know what I'm wondering about, which is what I'm sitting here doing all of the time, is, like, I wonder if there is any particular system to how the game determines which 3 fates it's going to confirm. When you have 3, let's say if you have 4 or 5 fates that are, hang on. Glad I worked through this logic, because that doesn't make sense, does it? Because we already had this one ready, and it was only when we clicked over Christian's name that 3 were confirmed correct, which means this one, which must mean by extension that this one is incorrect. This one is really bugging me because there are things. This one is really bugging me because there are things about this guy that I feel quite sure of. And then there are other things where I'm like, no, I feel so, I have no ground whatsoever. Because of the conversation with the person I believe is Alfred Boson, his mate, the Frenchman, was torn apart. And I'm like, well, this is the guy who was torn apart. Here he is being torn apart, right? Does that make him the Boson's mate? So I was reasoning he's Charles Minor, the Frenchman. However, here's my other thought about this. It's another one where it's possible that I have the wrong. Death here. I experimented a little bit with that, but that didn't get us anywhere. But I actually could have the wrong identity here. And of all of our main deaths, of all of our main deaths here in the Doom, he's the only one that has been torn apart by the beast, right? Yep. No one else comes even close. So these are all of the people, these 8 parts here represent the people who during this chapter experienced death on the ship. These people represent people who died off the ship. I think that's how it works. So for example, fell overboard. And several of these others are also going to be fell overboard. This guy as well. This was, I believe, also a fell overboard death. He was on the same boat. We know he's one of the Peters, but I don't know which one yet. So I'm going to wait for a little bit more, a little bit more spice, a little bit more spicy evidence there. I could have a guess at it, but guessing is, I suppose, guessing without without a decent amount of, compelling evidence is what I want to kind of try and avoid. I think it's more fun to actually I don't know. Like I've said before, I could have all kinds of guesses and I reckon I'd be right about a bunch of them, just based on looking at how, looking at people in the sketch and a process of elimination and all of that. But I don't really want to play the game that way. I want to put data that I'm sort of given together, if possible. I think it's more satisfying that way. So we know, I'm happy with, for now, he's one of the 2 Peters. I'm good with that. However, it could be that one of these people here, I'm just trying to remember which, stripy shirt guy, is it you? Oh my god, it would make so much sense, wouldn't it? It would make so much sense because I was laughing early on about the possibility of him being the Frenchman. What I'm remembering, and I'm going to go back and look at this, we're going to do it right now. I'm going to go back and look at this memory. I think I have to leave this one. Someone, we can see someone getting wrapped up in one of the squid's tentacles. I can't recall exactly which of those two people it is right now. We're going to go and check it out, because I guess I was so hung up on the fact that the person we see and hear getting obviously torn apart by the squid must be that particular squid death. Must be that instance of, you know, the squid tearing someone apart. Oh, I can just hear... I can hear... I can hear a beep outside. Or what I thought was actually in the apartment for the moment, but there's a garbage truck outside backing up. Yeah, somewhere I think over here we actually see one of those disappeared people who is wrapped up with a tentacle. However, we know two things. One, we know that we don't see their death. We are simply told they've disappeared somehow. And because we've been told they've disappeared, we know they don't die on the ship. I believe that's how it works. However, that does not mean that they haven't been torn apart by the squid. The problem is I can't remember exactly which scene that appears in. I'm going to take a look at this one. I think it's this or the other torn apart guy. Someone... I don't think it's this. Yeah. No, it's... because it's over here. Great. Sorry, I'm not even sure that I'm going to listen to this whole scene. Let's exit out. So, is it then... And it's not you, though, is it? Where is my... It's here. Here. I really thought for a long time you were the Frenchman. And now I think I've gone full circle potentially back to Stripy Shirt Guy. There you are. Definitely getting torn apart. Ah, but you're here. Maybe it must be Abigail's. Yeah, because we can't even get to the side here. It must be Abigail's fate. You're still doing well. I think you're going to be doing a little bit less well in the next one. I see. Alright. This is our... yeah, that's our number one lumberjack. You're going to stab someone and then get shot. I see. Alfred about to... I can't remember what he concluded there. Is he throwing or grabbing the gun? He's grabbing the gun, I think. Yeah. Okay. Alright, and let me remind myself, who are you? The guy on the bit? Ah, yeah. That sort of youngish guy with a cravat. It must be then Abigail's memory we go into. Excuse me. Sorry, try not to step on anybody. Martin! Here we go. This is what I was after. Could you be the guy? Could you be the guy who gets torn apart? Could it be you? But then what's going on with Stripy Shirt Guy about now? Alright, I'm going to say could be. Though... would the bosun's mate be... I guess all the mates are just at the back of the... well, the mates and the... how do I phrase this? The first mate and the second mate and the third mate are all standing up front here with their big hats and some other officers. But like the mates and the stewards of the mates and the officers might kind of be pretty well represented by the people standing at the back there. There's like three different kinds of mates that we're dealing with in this game, right? At least there's first mates, then there's mates of higher officers, and then there's just buddies. So yeah. Now this... you're my yep. Still looking for a name to put to you. This is like the only memory I have of you where you're not climbing on something, honestly. However, that's you. Can I account for Stripy Shirt Guy anywhere? Yeah, that's right. You're over here with Alfred. Here's the other thing. This is the other thing I've been thinking of. Like, this is the last scene in The Doom. It's entirely possible. We cannot say that something more won't happen to Alfred in this chapter. But we don't know anything about this chapter, and we won't know anything about this chapter for a good while. At the beginning, in the very first part of the escape chapter, Alfred is dying. So whatever causes Alfred to die could be here, in which case it will remain a mystery for a while. However, could also be here. And I suppose that the impression that I get from the conversation with Alfred, as I've said before, is that he's been out for a little while. It's possible he's been out for this entire chapter, which might mean that the cause of his death is what we're looking at right here. Obviously, it doesn't look good for him, but at the same time, we're not necessarily seeing it. So it's just not conclusive. However, his death is either right here that we're looking at right now. It's either this thing that we're seeing, or when I say right now, I mean when I put the book away, or it is something that occurs in the bargain. But if it does occur in the bargain, I think we can for sure say it occurs, it either occurs early in the bargain, or it occurs where Alfred can't really sort of see what some other people can see, because he has to get told here that the captain does what he does in the bargain. So I think it is the most likely that Alfred has been unconscious during this chapter, and he was critically injured right in this, in or after this moment that we're seeing here. But he does not die. He dies here. So given that, should I just have a go at his death and say, I don't know what, crushed by a beast? Like, what else is the beast going to do? Well, the beast has shot someone with a cannon. I don't know. But I think, yeah. Let's go with crushed by beast for the time being. Because I just think it's by far the most likely, given everything we've got in front of us. Okay. So that's in. That's another potentially completed fate. We shall see. Now here you are stabbing the squid. You could also theoretically, after this, be crushed by the squid. We just don't see it because it could be just like the other guy. The possibility is that you could be lifted up off the ship. And I don't really know how this magical watch is counting on and off the ship. What about the exploded guy? The exploded guy is kind of in the air, right? Is he just, so there seems to be a sort of a magical vicinity, a magical kind of three-dimensional spatial boundary around this ship that this watch is kind of happy with. Just having a sip of my coffee. That this watch is kind of cognizant of. And beyond whatever that kind of boundary is, the watch goes, they disappeared. However, we can put a couple of things together. When we see people fall overboard, they're off the ship. That's pretty simple. However, if they're hovering above the ship here in an explosion, they are on the ship. So it does seem to be perhaps that anything from anything that's vertically above the ship is fine. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the point is, you could still be crushed by... You could still be crushed by the squid, by the beast. So you are also a candidate for crushed by the beast. You are also a candidate. Now that... I mean, neither of you survive because you don't exist beyond this part. So some fate befalls you from this moment, in fact, because here we are, we can see both of you. Here's a question. Does the game think I know who this is? Yeah. Well, I got to try it both ways, right? I got to try it both ways. I know you all sitting there watching this right now, or maybe you're standing there, I don't know. You're watching this right now. You all know I am a hair's breadth away from calling the Frenchman with the stripy shirt. But I just want to feel this out. I want to feel out the logic of this. It's okay. All right. It's happy with me having a go at this one as well. Interesting. So how about we just have a go at this? But this probably means I have to undo this one first, don't I? Okay, so I'm thinking, you remain an unknown. You remain an unknown. And hang on, just let me have one more. Not one more. It's going to be hundreds more. Let me have another look. At the countries of origin here. Look, could you be New Guinean? I mean, the tattoos, right? Could you be Maba? It does list you as a topman. Okay. It's probably fine. I don't know. I don't know like what these tattoos are. I will say that to me as an Australian, they look very loosely like something. I mean, there's so many Pacific Islands. They look Pacific Island-esque to me. So yeah, but there's not really many other things on offer. So it could very well be Maba. Okay. I don't know. I would be interested in a little bit more information. I don't want to make again, this is like guessing who is the chef, who is the cook and who is the butcher. I could do it right now easily. But I'm just seeing if the game is going to give me some more breadcrumbs before I make that call. I don't want to make a call just based on the sketch, if you get me. So anyway, back to the Doom. Let's see about this. I've actually got to recheck how many fully filled in fates we have. Because then I know, if I have two, then filling in, if I have one, filling in one more is not going to do anything whether they're right or not. If I have two fully filled in fates and I fill in a third one, then I know something is at least wrong with one of them. But let's go. Charles Minor, I think you might have been torn apart by a beast, my good friend, my buddy. You seem like a really nice guy. I think that could be it. Okay, so let's say fully filled in. Nothing else here is fully filled in. This one is no longer fully filled in. Yeah, neither is that. Okay, so that's just one. Let's get the end is, how much of the end have we got? Yeah, So curious about this guy. Yeah, so we just have this guy to figure out here. Oh. So curious about this one. Either way, that's still just one fully filled in thing. Murder. Murder is murder all done at this stage? Yes. Yes. No. No, murder is not all done yet. We've got to figure out you, but there's no other conclusion or anything. Bitter cold we've barely stepped into yet. Soldiers of the Sea. We don't have too much here, so I don't expect that any of these are filled in yet. There's a lot of deaths I can go around filling in, that's for sure. Okay. Yep. And then the other one to check, though, is the escape. Great. So, we're guessing that you were crushed by a terrible beast. I don't know, but it's my best guess at the time. So this is the second one that's fully filled in. That's only 2. No, 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 no. No. What were your fates, you interesting people? What were your fates? I'm so curious. Because I feel like they've probably successfully escaped and they've gone somewhere. What information am I going to get on that? Is it maybe just... Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious, but yeah. Another time. Okay, so we only have 2 fully filled in things. That's cool. So nothing is, if they could be correct, and nothing is going to be confirmed at this time. Anyway, this is another one where I'm like, I think I know who this guy is. I could put this, and we know Henry is now confirmed, so I think we could, but the game is telling me I don't know. So if the game tells me I don't know, I'm not messing with it. You... We've got quite a lot of you, but what possible information do I have? Obviously, you're a hatted person. You're a hatted officer of some kind. You're a hatted officer of some kind. What does the game think I know about you? Okay, the game says you can have a little guess. However, what is my guess? I don't know. I don't really know what a carpenter on the ship would look like. I don't think you're fourth mate. I think I know who fourth mate is. I don't think you have a Polish accent. I don't think you're the butcher. Helmsman? Could be. What does it tell me that a helmsman do? Rated seaman in control of the ship's wheel and general moment-to-moment navigation. Well, he certainly did say the word east. Would that be someone who knows about navigation? That would be every single person who's ever been on a ship. Possibly most human beings alive. Yeah. So do I ever see you at the wheel? Maybe that's an interesting question to ask. Where do we ever see the wheel? Well, it's here. I don't think I've ever seen anyone. Well, no, that's not the wheel, is it? That's not the wheel. The wheel's... Hang on. The wheel is... Where's the ship's wheel? How can I get... Are there any clues on you? Do you have your own compass? Are you a helmsman? Yeah. What memory do I have? What memory do I have that will let me move to the ends of the ship? Not this one, anyway. Not this one. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Thank you, Abigail. That was really useful. None of these... It's been a very long time since I've considered any of these things at the end. However, they're all kind of in the same area, aren't they? So they're not going to change. Yeah. My memory is that this isn't really going to change anything about our access to the rest of the ship. I don't think any of them... Like, in any of those memories, as far as I remember, the door is sort of like here-ish. I don't think any of them are going to give us access down these stairs, right? So these two are both in the escape. Right. Exploded guy. Yeah, guy gets killed by spiders. Okay. Alright. Anyway, I did want to continue with some of these down here because these are still very much deaths I think are worthwhile investigating. Where was anybody though? So you're from the other chapter. This one I don't... Let's have a listen. I don't think there's any accent clues.
What's happening? Sir, loose cannon! She's nearly over! Fight your flag!
I mean, that could very well... It could be an Irish accent, but it could also not be. It's, to me, that's a potential Irish accent. I mean, it definitely does look like the guy has light hair. You know, it could be kind of auburn or red or something. This could be Irish. This could be Irish. So if it is, you are, I think you guys are the stewards, yeah? So who have we got? Who, contents, crew, show me the stewards, who we got here. We do. Could you be Samuel? Could you be Samuel Galligan? It could very well be an Irish accent. The second mate's steward. And the second mate is Edward Nichols. At the moment, I'm guessing... Yeah. Well, look, it doesn't really matter. You could be Samuel. Did you know this? You could be Samuel. It could be you. It could be you. I think I'm happy with going there because I think there's a really good chance that is... Where am I going? Where are my stewards? I think that there's a good chance that is an Irish accent. And I know now that group of 4 are the stewards. There's only one Irish steward. We know who Paul is because he's named. And then... and then there's 2 English stewards. It's what I'm going to go with for now. But that would be my third fate, right? That's my third filled in fate. So that means one of them is wrong. So it could very well be Samuel is the wrong information there. Just having some more coffee while I have a think about it. That's my 3, right? Okay. Then let's... Now, what I just put in there, as I said, could very well be the wrong piece of information. But let's just consider again. We have... Yeah, what were my other... We have the new potential Frenchman, Charles Minor, torn apart by a terrible beast, which is coming only from the conversation with Alfred. And then we have the man himself, Alfred, crushed by a terrible beast, which is also a guess. I mean, everything is a guess, but you know, it's a guessy, it's a very guessy kind of guess. It's a guess. This is a real timeline kind of guess. Timeline, circumstance, crushed by a terrible beast. Okay, well, something is wrong with at least one of those bits of information there. So, but I'm gonna leave them in because I don't know, you know, I don't know which, and that at least represents my kind of best guess for the time being. Okay, these we have looked at again, and we know that the conversation here is only the gunner. Cool. All right. Anyway, that was really what I wanted to do here. I wanted to go back through these gun deck events again. Let me remind myself, who are you two falling on the stairs? Yeah. Cravat guy. One of the cravat guys and this one. So as a people on this ship, who are you? Who are you guys? Midshipmen? Were we thinking midshipman for you guys? Not sure. All right, let's get ourselves to the door. Where's my door? Where be my door? There's nothing else to see in here, is there? Is there? Pots and pans flying. Is there a clue in here? Clue? We ain't getting any further in there, but I can hide away in here. Where is my door? Over here. I'm still going with Martin for you, aren't I? No, yes, no? Who was I saying? Yeah, Martin Perrault, that's right. Martin. Ah, yeah, and that's you. You're a guy who's in a lot of places. But what can I say about you apart from the fact that you have a nice beard? You do some work on the gun deck, you do some work in some other places, and you're involved in some drama. Okay. I don't know. Possible I'm still sort of missing something here, but I think for the time being that's what I wanted to achieve on the gun deck. Great. Thank you, everybody. Now, I think what I'm ready for is a new story. Where are we going? So, I mean, I really want to go over this chapter as well, our Soldiers of the Sea chapter. I'm sure that there's a lot I can kind of input here, but I am hungry for a new tale. So, where am I going? What have I seen? We haven't seen this one. Yeah? Or we have seen it.
Saya
Haha.
tuh tahu. Aku pilih.
I'm so excited we're getting some different languages. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Oh my god, so interesting. It's almost like being in this chapter feels like being in another world almost. It really does. Do you know what I mean? It feels like this is not the ship yet that we've come to know. This is a different ship in different times. These people have a very different experience of life. Okay, so I don't think... I think we've seen you in maybe one of the disappearances, but I don't think we've seen you guys. I could be wrong. Oh, God, it's amazing getting this sort of lovelier, you know... There's some stuff that's not so nice going on, for sure. There's absolutely a kind of drama. However, at this stage, it's more of a muted, personal, human drama. It's not yet a supernatural drama. How exciting! How exciting! Oh, I'm so glad that we're getting some new languages. So I'm going to guess that we have a group of Russians and we have a group of people from the Middle East, but oh, I forgot that would happen. just go straight into like, I'm going to dig around in the book. Yeah. So this sounds like, you know, there's at least a couple, maybe all Russians hanging out together playing cards. But they're having card talk. And then ship crew. And then we have... Where was Said? Said. Where is it? I've missed it. Ah, here. Solomon Said. Okay. India. So Said is presumably... Let's look at the conversation again. I think they're talking to... It's the sick person. Okay. Solomon Said, and actually let me remind myself, you are just all right, seaman. Okay. So we're dealing here with part 1. So this might be the the very beginning of any signs of illness, perhaps. 22 others are present. Ooh, that's so nice to hear, because there's going to be a lot of rich scenes about the ship for us to find, potentially through, whether it's through this particular memory or through some of the other memories. Yeah, we have this guy. We've seen this one in the surgeon's room. Yep, the cow. Interesting. 10 others present, 22 present for this one. Amazing. Okay, very interesting. Said, get up, drink something. Yeah, so I think we got Said right here. I think we can zero in on Said very easily. Stop your cheating. Worry about yourself. I wonder if I can take a look at those cards and guess who might be cheating. Probably not, but that would be interesting, right? That would be interesting. So Said. And so he dies here. He dies right here. Let's take, I think we just have illness, right? We just have illness. succumbed to a tragic illness. To be honest, maybe this is even reaching. I believe that's what we're talking about here. But maybe if I look closely at this guy, he's actually been stabbed. I don't know. I think he's died of. I think it's an illness. However, that's another full fate. So, if I'm pretty dang sure we must be dealing with Saeed here, and I'm pretty dang sure. Well, I'm pretty dang sure we're dealing with Saeed here. I'm having a very, I feel a strong guess that he has succumbed to a tragic illness here. I think that's what we're dealing with in this chapter, and I think that that's what he represents here. He's the first one to pass away because of it. So if I'm feeling pretty good that this fate here is correct, then that means there's two things incorrect. There's two other fates I have that have incorrect aspects to them. So, yeah, wow. Anyway, something to consider. And then, so how many Russians are we talking about? Let's head over here. There's 3 people at the table. Are there 3 people from Russia? There are indeed 3 people from Russia. Okay, so I think we know who the group is. Of course, the question is, do we know any of the individuals? I am interested in the fact that one of them is a topman. Let me take a look at your faces. Everybody, hold still. Hold still for a moment. Hold still. I need to check out who's who here. Ah! My lumberjack is a Russian. And of course, they're all playing cards up here as well. Ah. Haha, it starts to come together. You're one of the shooters. Yeah, the second one. Yeah. I'm going to say the look on that guy's face looks like he could be the one cheating, right? Look at that. That's the court. This guy has 0 poker face. This is 0 poker face right here. He's like, here I go, cheating. Or is he the one is it because he's accusing this guy of cheating, actually? Could be that because it's that conversation. Okay. So it makes sense. You guys like cards. Here you are playing cards. Got it. Could it be that these are the brothers? Because we know that this is one of the 2 brothers. Maybe he's hanging out with his other brother. Okay. All right. So you 2 are accounted for. And, I know what your faces are and I know where you are. And then there was the shooter. Okay. Now, what I want to do just with this information, right? I thought I saw a tentacle here. No. Okay. But there are a lot of people sleeping here. Huh. Okay, so that's going to account for a lot of the 22. Interesting. Now, is this going to let me see who's... We might have to look at their feet. Sorry, Hey! Oh, they have numbered beds. Is that what this is? So surely this is going to be... There'll be something that references a bed number at some point, maybe. Ah. Or, hang on. Don't tell me this is your... Is this really... Because it doesn't actually say what this is, but is this actually, are you going to be sleeping in the bed that is associated with your manifest number? Oh, that's interesting. So, because if I do this, right, if I look at your foot, yeah, it doesn't show. That is so interesting. That's a very cool way of doing this. So I can't use my magic method of seeing which person in the sketch you are, but I can use my index. You are 59. So this is George Shirley. Cool. Now I wonder, but I know I will look at all of the others as well, but I wonder if there's any clues I can get, like, from their feet about something to do with them, you know, like doing more, how can I say this? Like, I wonder if there will be something visually striking about someone in one of these beds that will help me connect with another scene, if you get me. Like, oh, they have that big scratch on their leg, or I don't know. Maybe not that, but so 38. You are Huang Li, another topman. Looks like a lot of the Chinese people are topmen. 41. You are... I just want to see what names we're dealing with here. Wei Li, another topman. You are 40. 40. Li Hong, another topman. And 39, which is Jie Zhang. Apologies if I'm not saying that correctly. I always get a little confused with the pronunciation here. Okay, so a lot of the topmen here. That's super interesting. Then we've got the group over there playing cards. So let's do this in a sweep. We've got 56, 55, 57, 58, 57, 58. Hang on. 55, 56, 57, 58. Let's do that. We've got all four of you. 55. So Hamadou, interesting. Henry Brennan, Alexander Booth, and Patrick O'Hagan. Okay. Cool. No wonder there's so many people here. And, well, we can also confirm, because I'm fairly sure that you are Saeed, because they're calling you Saeed, but let's just look. 54. Yeah, turns out it's Saeed. Got it. Cool. Aha. Aha. Why are you X? Why this one X? 53. Hang on. 51, 53, 54. Why is it X? This guy already looks dead. But we can actually see your face. Ah. So hang on, I can match you up with a name. Unless you're sleeping in, the bed that's not yours. 51. Let's take a shot at it. 51, Renfred Rajub from India. Renfred. I think I can give you a name. You're one of the unusual people that I can name before I can identify their death. Lucky you. I think I'm gonna go for it, but where are we? Renfred. Met an unknown fate. Well, right now having a nice sleep. Having a lovely sleep. Wow, this is amazing. This whole room is an index of people now. This whole room has become a spatial index for matching a lot of people up in really interesting ways. This is amazing. This is amazing. Now, because this bed is empty, yeah? This one's got someone sleeping in it. This one has somebody dying in it. This one has someone sitting in it. This guy is up. So is the logic here that we say 53 is you? So who is 53? William Wasim? Can I call you William, my friend? Are you a William? Let's give it a go. William. What do I know about you, William? Show me your memories. Show me your memories, William. Show them to me. Oh, okay. Yep. So you are here. All right. I haven't investigated much of this chapter yet. So not in like detail. Cool. But I have a name to a face, I think, for you. I tell you what, William. It might not go well for you in part 3. I'm not sure. It might not go well for you. Because I don't think I've seen you anywhere else. Whereas why is this X? Why is it X on both sides? It is. Why are you X? 51, 50. And why is it even numbered like this? Like, you would expect 51 and 52 to be next to each other. But it's 51, 53, maybe 52, and then 54. Hang on, that is so weird. But when we look back at these ones, so 59, no, wow, all right, yeah, these are, what is going on here? 39, 40, 41. Okay. Have people moved? Maybe people have maybe originally these were all numbered sort of sequentially, but people have gone, I want to swap with you because my mate's over here, like, and I want to sleep next to him. Maybe people have swapped. Because that's, 39, 40, 41. Over here is 38. So you would expect this to be 37. But it is most definitely 59. Now there's a whole bunch over here as well. So here we got 36. But only 36. It's possible one's been moved from here. These ones we cannot see. You can just see their little legs. Similarly, yeah, 37, 42, and then not visible. Oh, this is a very interesting kind of little puzzle. And then over here, 45 and 46. Oh, man. Wow. I'm very excited about thinking through the implications of some of this. Very curious. Well, this is very helpful. Thank you, everybody. I know you're a little bit distracted and you've got a bit going on, but this has been very, very revealing. How cool. I'm going to have to leave this episode here, everyone, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming on this journey on the grand, great, disastrous, cool, spooky ship, Obra Dinn. Thank you for coming with me. I really, really appreciate your company. I hope you're having a great time. I'm having a great time. I can't wait to get back to this scene and think through these numbers a little bit more and think through some more fates and explore some more, in particularly these latest 2 chapters. There is much to learn. Anyway, I'm having a great time. I hope you are too. Do something very nice for yourself. It is very important. Treat yourself to something. Let yourself off the hook for something that's giving you anxiety, whatever it is. Be very kind to yourself. It is very important. It's something we believe very firmly in my family. And I will see you in the next one. And by the way, our channel has a new patron. There's a link to it in the description if you'd like to give it a look. There's all kinds of bonuses and things available. Check out some of the tiers that we have. Other than that, I will see you in the next episode. Take care, everyone. Ta-ta.